Hello, my name is Heidi Maria Norman from Norway, and today on this podcast I will interview a dear friend of mine from the US. Her name is Florence Acosta, and we shall see what is coming true. My dream has come true when I'm interviewing people all around the world about love, joy, heart set, and spirituality. So welcome to this podcast, Florence.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thank you for coming. It is so amazing that you all the way from the USA is here with me today. It is incredible how the technology works.
Yes, I completely agree.
Can you please introduce yourself and tell a little bit about you?
Sure. I am a mom of three, one biological child and two stepkids.
Mm.
And I'm a nurse anesthetist, which means I give anesthesia for patients who are receiving surgery and surgical procedures. Let's see, 47, started my spiritual journey, probably I would say at maybe 10 years ago when I was going through my divorce from my son's father.
Mm.
I would say that's when it really ramped up for me. Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit more about how you find the spiritual path when you were going through the divorce?
Well, I would have to say that when you hear a voice and you think, oh my gosh, where is this voice coming from? Like you think, oh my gosh, that's not something I would normally say. And I would try to shut it out because I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, am I just hearing things? Am I crazy? But then I keep hearing the same things over and over, just like not specific directions, but messages like, okay, like you can do this, you got this, or I would ask a specific question and I would get an answer, and I used to just shut it out. But then I stopped shutting it out and just started letting the messages flow through me, to help me, to help guide me through this difficult time I was going through for myself and for my son. So that's how I let spirit guide me through that difficult time.
Yeah, that is powerful. And when you started to do this journey, and you started to see that the voice that you hear got you in the right direction, what was your thoughts about it then?
Thank goodness I wasn't crazy.
Yeah.
Because the more I found that the more I surrendered to it, the more I felt confident that everything was going to be okay in my life, because I was following the guidance and I was feeling more confident because things were flowing more smoothly. And I also found that I was starting to attract people who were more spiritual,
Yes.
into my circle. And I found actually, I guess she found me, but this woman that was holding like a little women's circle in her home, and she had invited me during that time of my life to join. And, that was kind of my first opening into spirituality, outside of myself,
Mm.
outside of reading
Yes.
books or watching, at the time, YouTube videos of the things that were spiritual, like Wayne Dyer and
Yes.
Marianne Williamson and people like that. So someone locally that, I could connect with, to, because it's nice to watch people on video and read books, but the power of doing something like joining
Mm.
something in person is even more powerful, I think.
Yes, and to meet people, you change energy, and then it starts to be a transformation.
Oh,
That,
absolutely.
so it's so powerful. And if I always say, when I have meetings or I have a group, that everybody that is in the same group is there for a reason, because when one is talking from their heart, the other one is taking what the person is saying, and okay, thank you for giving me that answer. Because when we are talking from our heart and sharing, then we can start to grow as humans. And that is why I'm doing this also, because I think it's so important to have this conversation and to talk about spirituality and talk that you are not crazy, like you are saying, and also to get people that is out there, that is searching, to really understand the power of themselves and that they are not alone.
That's so beautiful, because you are right. We are not alone. And I think for me, something I realized through a lot of this work that personal development work that I've been doing on myself, is that, we tell ourselves these stories about belonging, like, especially if you've got some kind of wound from the past.
Yes.
Like, you don't belong, or I'm not good enough. And I used to tell myself that story, because I had this incident where I was younger, where I was trying out for the pom team and I didn't make it. And my classmates at the time, they made it. So then I automatically thought, something's wrong with me. I'm not good enough to be on that team. So that was something I carried with myself for so long, was that I wasn't good enough. I'm not, or I'm not enough. And throughout my life, like I think I buried it at the time because I was really good at academics, so I excelled there. So I kind of buried that. But what I didn't realize was, throughout my life, like, I had that theme of kind of pushing women away, like not having that relationship with women, because I was afraid of being hurt. And I always taught myself, or not, told myself that story that, I'm not cool enough, I'm not good enough, right? So even though I wanted to have relationships with women and connect with women, I couldn't, because I was afraid to, because I held on to that story of, like I said, not being good enough. And not wanting to be hurt in that situation again. So but that's the thing, I was wanting community and connection, but I held myself back because of that self-limiting belief I was telling myself.
Yes, and also that when you are telling that sort of things to yourself, it is holding you back for being who you really are. So people can't see the real you. But when you are starting to find people that is like-minded, like you, because when you are holding yourself back, then nobody can see who you are. And when you are starting to see yourself as you are seeing, because we are mirrors, we see the people that is like us. If we don't show who we are, we meet people that is not showing us who we are. But when we are starting to open up our hearts and start to be ourselves, then we are attracting people that is more like-minded that we are. And then we understand the power of us and the power that we are love.
Absolutely agree with that. So true. That is so true.
When you have said to me that you had that limited belief that you wasn't good enough, that you wasn't brave enough, you couldn't do this and you couldn't do that. How did you manage to tell yourself that you are good enough, that you can do whatever you want?
So you and I have a teacher.
Yes.
Our teacher, Gabby Bernstein, and she said, you have to keep showing up for yourself. Yes. Because if you don't keep showing up, those things that you keep telling yourself you have to keep showing up for yourself and work on yourself. Because if you don't, those things that are holding you back will keep coming up and coming up and coming up, which I agree with, because, I've experienced it, also, through her work, her book, The Universe Has Your Back, yes. Transforming fear into faith. Yeah. That book was amazing and was really, that really helped me a lot. And I just read that recently last year. That, along with her Spirit Junkie course, of course, that was amazing. But I will tell you that prior to that, I received this invitation from a friend to join this local women's circle in my area. And it just, I can't tell you the transformation that I went through just going through that 9-month journey, because that's what it was. It was 9 months of really deep inner work. Yes. And I would say if I hadn't done that, if I had not participated in that, I don't know that I would be the same person I am today. I definitely would. I don't know how I would have. I don't know who I would be today. I'm just so grateful for that. Yes. That work, really, because it helped me. It helped me bloom, and it helped me see that, those self-limiting beliefs, how detrimental they were to my personal growth, because I was stuck in a place because of those thoughts, those things that I was believing about myself. And, these stories we tell ourselves really they're not true. No. Once you sit down and you look at them and you examine them, of them are because of maybe situation placed in that you've been told one thing or another, or you believe something because something happened, just like in my instance, or it can be passed down from generation to generation, and what I mean by that is, say for instance, you learn something from your parents, something, let's just say, your money mindset, for instance, like you are taught to believe from a young age that you really have to work hard for money, or you have to go to college in order to get a good job to earn a certain level of money, and you're, at least I was taught that, and I know many other people are taught that because that's what their parents taught them. And if you think about it, that's what their parents taught them, and then before that, that's what their parents taught them. So it's, those beliefs can be, like I said, situational, where you have experienced them, or you've learned them from someone like your parents.
Yes, it's so true. And when you start to look at your beliefs and you start to see, is this mine, or is this my parents, or is this my grandparents, then you start to have another experience about what is my truth. And you can you can start to program yourself again, and to see that, is this truth for me? And so it's and it is a really good example with money, because many people have that truth, that you have to work hard, you have to yes, and you have to have that kind of education to do the work that you are going to do. So that is really interesting. But if you tell me a little bit about, how did you find Gabrielle Bernstein, and what was the first meeting with her and her work?
Oh, okay. So I just told you a few minutes ago about that local women's circle in my area that I went to. It was 9 months, and I would say maybe 4 months in, we had our first women's retreat. And I came home from that retreat just in such good spirits. It was just so good for my soul, and I really wanted to hold on feeling. So I was just thinking in my head, what can I do? Because after that, our meetings were monthly, and I was like, what can I do? Because our next meeting wasn't for another month. What can I do to keep my spirits up and keep this momentum going? So I was getting ready to make dinner, and I wanted something to put something on in the background while I was cooking. And I was just going through my email, and I saw an email from Gabby and her team. It said there were 4, complimentary videos. So I thought, well, what is that going to hurt? I mean, it looks good. I like it. We just put those on in the background, and I watched the videos, and then I just felt so called to sign up for her Spirit Junkie level 1 masterclass. So that's how I found out about Spirit Junkie. But before that, just on a quick side note, it was January 1st, New Year's Day of 2019, and I don't really watch a lot of TV. But for whatever reason, I was feeling called to turn it on. So I turned it on, and really my first experience, now that I go back to this and I'm thinking about it,
a little bit,
it was on January 1st, 2019. I was reading the channel, and it was the first. What's that? Is everything okay?
It is something wrong with our connection. So can you please tell a little bit about the first January 2000?
Yes, I'll go back to that.
Yeah.
Yes. So actually, I was just thinking my first experience with Gabby Bernstein was on January 1st, 2019. I never turned the television on, and because I don't watch a lot of TV, but for whatever reason, I was feeling called So I turned it on and I was flipping the channels, and Oprah's Super Soul Sunday was on. And
Oh,
I
wow.
said, all right, let's see what Oprah has to say. And her guest on the particular show that I had landed on was Gabby Bernstein. So I first found Gabby Bernstein. Little did I know 6 months later that I would find her again in my email and then meet her at her Spirit Junkie Live event in New York, August of 2019.
Wow.
And then go on to meet her in November of 2019, which is where I met you.
Yeah. That
for
was
a week
amazing.
at Kripalu in Massachusetts. I go back and I think about that week of our lives where
Yes,
there was just so much transformation.
it was so,
What a journey.
yeah, it was. And I was speaking with Di Mario, and we were talking about that it was a preparing for this period of time, because we opened something up in ourselves at that event that is so powerful.
Yes.
And
yes, I mean, look at where you are now.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah.
at where you are now. Like, you're living your dream.
Yes, I'm living my dream. It's a little bit, the connection is a little bit off, but we are trying the best we can here. Yes, I'm living my dream, and this is a dream coming true for me that I have had for 3 years to do this. But I have always also have that limited belief that I'm not good enough to talk English. I can't do this and that sort of thing. But I'm getting away from that fear and just throwing myself out there and doing this work, because I think it's so important. And
well, first of all, you are speaking English very well, and you are doing it. So, yeah, it's awesome.
Thank you. And I'm doing this because it is so many stories that has been forgotten or not been seen if I'm not doing this, because it's so many people out there that is not understanding that what they should do when they are searching, and also the people that has these powerful stories like you, that they need to be heard. You need to be heard about your story and how you find your spirituality. And the more we are opening up, the more we can transformate the world as well, because we can show that the only way is love, not fear, not yes,
definitely, right. So also, another way that really helped me tap into my spirituality is meditation.
Yes.
And I hear a lot of people say, oh, I can't meditate, I can't sit still, I don't know how to meditate. And you know what, I think when I hear that, I think what I want to tell people, but I don't tell people because I don't like to give people advice unless they are asking me for it. But the best piece of advice I could give someone who says that, who is wanting, who it feels like they're being called onto a spiritual path, is to just be quiet, just quiet themselves down. Just if they could just sit and go inside, because it's really where all the answers are, is if you could just sit in silence even for just a couple minutes, and close your eyes and just really listen.
Yes.
I feel like that's when you get the answers you need.
Yes, it's so true. And also when you calm down and you just sit, then you let the universe do her thing. Because when you are always doing, pushing.
I just got the chills when you said that.
Yes. Because when you are pushing, then you are not letting the universe do the things that she or he is doing for you, because then you are not making them put the puzzles together. And when you are listening and you are silent and you are calm and you just do what you are supposed to do when you are doing it, and then you have the energy to do the things that you do in that time. But if you are in the past or the future, then you are using the energy that you had, that is supposed to be on this moment
right now.
So you are just pushing to be farther from where you are supposed to be. So if you put your energy back to where you are, where your body is, you can't be anywhere else that where your body is. And when I understand that, I was, So when I come down and breathe, because yoga, I see also you have so many beautiful pictures about you doing yoga. And and we can come back to it, but it's like when you breathe and you are calm, then you are where you're supposed to be. Because when your breathing is calm and easy, then you are in alignment with yourself. And that is the pace.
Definitely.
Yes. And that is the pace that we have to go with. But we are always in a hurry. We are always trying to be somewhere that we are not going, that we are not being. We are hurrying to be at the store. We are hurrying back home to make food. We are hurrying to do something. And it is so important, like you are saying, that take that time to meditate and to center yourself and to be present with yourself is so important.
Yes, for sure. And to go back to the point of just hurrying, I think as women, where we have so many roles, like we're moms, we're wives, we're sisters, we're daughters. Some of us have full-time jobs, and we're always like, before something is done in the moment, like you're always, at least I am, like, what's next? What's the next step? What's the next step? What's the next step? We're always looking ahead before we even finish the task that we are doing at the moment. And really, that's where we're supposed to be, is in the moment, but we miss the moment because we're just looking ahead all the time. Right?
Yes. It's so true. And that is the power. That's why meditation is so powerful, because you get more centered, you get more focused, you get more concentrated, you get a better mindset, you get more memory, you get more, what is it called? That you are more in tune with yourself. And it is so, we are so powerful, we much more than we ever can realize that we are. So and we get that power back when we are centered to ourselves and to find that energy in ourselves. when we are doing the
Mm-hmm.
things we do with our hearts. Because
Right.
sometimes we are doing it with our minds, we are thinking,
Mm-hmm.
but when we are following our hearts, then we understand that it is when we do the things that we love, we get the energy.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it just really it helps you focus to be nowhere but here in
Yes,
this moment.
yes,
Mm-hmm. Because I feel like a lot of people are living either in the future
yes,
or in the past
yes. And you
and
can see it.
completely missing the
Yes,
present.
and you can also see it on the body language of people. You can
Mm-hmm.
see it if they are in the past or if they live in the future. Because if you see a person that is living in the future, you see that they have their neck out because they are so curious about what is going on there. But if they are in the past, they are more like this because they don't want to see what is in front of them. Oh, that
Right.
is so exciting to see people. You can see it in their body language where they are. And as
Mm-hmm.
a yoga instructor, I see the class when they are coming. I can see where they are and what they need to have from me. I can feel the energy also. And you can also see that many people say that I can't do yoga because I'm so I have it's hurting here and there. I am so stiff. But it is that they are in the past or in the future. They are not
Right.
here.
Right. And it's so sad because,
Yeah.
you hear people, later in their lives and, sometimes they might be asked, what is a regret of yours? And I've heard certain people throughout the years say, I regret not being here with my kids or
Yes.
there with my spouse, or
Yes.
even though they were there, but they were physically there, but they weren't mentally there because
Yes.
they were checked out,
And they weren't emotionally there either.
Right. Right.
The body was there, but they weren't at the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Because when you are in the present moment, then all your senses is there. You are hearing it, you are seeing it, you are tasting it, you are smelling it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it just something clicked in my head when you were saying that, what holds us back from being in the moment. And I think it just goes back to those self-limiting beliefs,
Yes. Yes.
They
And
really,
fear.
right. And the fear. It's, the fear, there's so many fears, the fear of not being good enough, the
Yes.
fear of being judged,
Yes.
or, you're not worthy enough, or I think really a lot of issues stem from those beliefs.
Yes.
But it's, sometimes people don't recognize it, that those are they have those kinds of issues because they're so busy blaming things outside of themselves
Yes. Yeah.
instead of looking inside to see what's really going on here.
Yes. I have written a book called The Carousel of Emotions, and there I'm explaining the word pain.
Mm-hmm.
And pain is P for pay, A for attention, I for in, N for now. Because when you are having pain, you are not paying attention what you need right now.
Mm. Wow,
And
that's
what
very
you need,
powerful.
yeah, and what you need right now is to pay attention to your emotions, because your emotion is coming and going, and it is the emotions that is creating your life.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can totally see that.
Yeah.
Because of, I don't know if you're into Abraham Hicks.
Yes.
So she similarly says, you know, your thoughts create your life.
Yeah.
Right?
Mm.
So if you're constantly thinking those thoughts, that's what you are attracting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if
so
you,
much truth.
yes, but if you think about, it's a triangle. You have the
Mm-hmm.
thought, and then you have the emotions, and then you have your behavior.
Mm-hmm.
So everything is, if you think something, then you get an emotion, and an emotion makes you do something. But if you do something, then it gives you a thought that gives you emotion, or an emotion can give you a thought that is giving you how to do something. So everything
Mm-hmm.
is connected.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's really powerful to understand that emotions, that people is not stuck so much in the thought, but in the emotion that the thought gives you. Because when you are understanding how you are feeling and your emotions, then you can do something with it. And the emotions gives the pain in your body, can give you pain in the body. So and if you are not, if you are in a bad relationship, or in a bad job, or you are in a bad place, then your body is tightening, and you are, because you're holding your emotions inside of you, not to get it out, because it is not, we are trained to not cry, or not be angry, or not to show the emotions openly. So we put it in instead and hold it, and then it starts to give the pain, and that is what I'm writing about in my book. And I thought it was important to say it to you in a way. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but it is because the body, mind, and soul is connected.
Mm-hmm.
And we need to understand, and I'm saying it to everybody and also to myself, because it's like that we have to understand the power of being in this present moment, to see the whole, the body, mind, and soul, that is
Mm-hmm.
yes,
That are one, right?
yes,
But to go back to your point of learning, like you said we were trained to deal with our emotions in a certain way, you know, to hold them in, to not
yes,
cry, to,
yes,
and that all goes back to what I was referring to earlier,
yes,
with how you're, you know, you are taught from a very young age, you know, from your parents, or, you know, other family members, or, you know, older people in your life, that this is how you deal with your emotions.
yes,
It's not, you know, just be quiet, be a good girl, don't cry.
Mm.
It's those beliefs that we're taught at a very young age. It's not good to cry. It's not good to cause trouble. It's, you know what I mean? And it just goes back to that.
Yeah.
That what we're taught at a young age to believe that is not necessarily ours, but it's what we hold on to until we decide enough is enough and we need to shine a light on the dark shadows.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that we can heal,
Yes. Yeah. And it is when we put light on the darkness inside of us, then we start to heal. So it's I completely hear you.
Mm-hmm.
If you could say anything that has been powerful to you, that you want to share with the people that is listening here, what would that be?
I would have to say that I think a big part of my life in the past year has been to surrender to what the universe has in store for me. And as it kind of clicks into what we were talking about earlier about, you keep pushing,
Yes.
but in that push, you're not able to receive what the universe wants to give you.
Yes.
So I would have to say that if you find yourself in a situation that, there's something that you're manifesting in your life or something that you're working towards, and you find that it's just not working, no matter how hard you try, no matter how hard you push, no matter what you do, maybe you just need to sit still. Actually, not sit still. Maybe you need to get out of the way and let the universe do its thing.
Yes.
Surrender.
Yes.
Surrender.
Yes.
And like our teacher powerful. Gabby says, when you think you've surrendered, surrender some more.
Yeah, and that is something that I have when I am trying to surrender. I'm thinking about what Gabby said, surrender more. And then I do like this with my hands, so surrender.
That you can receive, right? You open your hands and you just say, and receive.
Yes, because now it's time to receive, not to push.
Right.
So it is. So I do like this. So I'm receiving.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So I think that would be my biggest piece of advice or support for someone that is on a spiritual path and wanting to manifest something, but it's not quite working, is to just surrender. And, also when you're manifesting, just put it out to the universe. And I think the biggest thing for me, and I've seen this in my life a lot, is, you get so attached to what you think the outcome should be, or what it is that you want, is, put it out to the universe and let it go. Just surrender it and see what happens. And that's where the magic is seeing, what happens and what kind of magic you can have. It's just so exciting.
Yes, it is. Thank you so much for being on this podcast today. It has been so wonderful, and I'm so grateful and thankful for you sharing all the things that you have shared today. And it is like when you are speaking from your heart, then magic is happening. So thank you so much.
Thank you too. It's been an honor to speak with you and to share this time with you. Thank you for having me.
Where can people find you? I think if they want to follow you, because I see that you are going to do some great things in your life.
So I just have a Facebook wall right now. I also am I also do women's circles. So
That's good.
through sisterships, through an organization called Sistership Circle, my goal is to inspire and empower women to reignite their own fire.
Wow.
So you could just find me on sistershipcircle.com. That's in the facilitator section, or you can find me on Facebook. My name is Florence Acosta.
Yes, that's nice. And can you please send me the link, so I will put it under this podcast as well, so people can find you and connect.
Absolutely.
To you.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You're welcome. And to all the listeners, thank you for listening to us. And if you want to contact me or Florence Acosta, then you find all the details under here. And I wish you a wonderful day wherever you are in the world, and keep being yourself. And bye.